But hi everyone, I am Marissa Knittel. I oversee East Coast sales for a company called Spaceback. Just real quick, if you're not familiar with what Spaceback is we're a creative automation platform that takes social media and turns it into programmatic banners, CTV, and video assets. But we are not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about Hillary. So if you want to give a quick intro about yourself and your role, that would be wonderful.
Sure. Hi, Hillary Settle, AVP of Ecommerce at Hanky Panky. If you're not familiar with the brand, we have been around since '77, actually. So heritage brand in the lingerie sector. We're known for the most comfortable thong. That is sort of our tagline. However, we did launch bras this year, so we are expanding. And I've been at the company for around 8 months, so still a really new role, but I'm in the thick of retail, so holiday season, Black Friday starting next week, so it's been fun so far.
Awesome. So as a brand that's been around since '77, which I had no idea that you guys were around for that long until you told me last night, how are you staying relevant with the younger customers and attracting new young customers in that space?
Yeah, it's been an interesting sort of couple of years specifically. We've been a product-led company for a very long time, and we were always in all of the largest department stores, still are. But if you're familiar with the brand, you were in Bloomingdale's and you're checking out, you saw these beautiful like glass sculptures that had filled with rolled thongs, and it was sort of the entry point in a lot of ways for a lot of women to be able to purchase the product, test the product, feel the product right in real time, and have it as sort of an add-on to your purchase. So for a long time, the entry point was that, understanding the brand through department stores. And so now, we are moving from, I would say, it was even 10 years ago, 70-30 wholesale to D2C. Now we're 50-50, I would say. Still very young in our efforts on e-com and D2C holistically. So we're looking into really smart collaborations moving into next year. We've already done a few this year. We're looking into the right kind of alignment with influencers moving into next year. And this year has been full of innovations, product innovations specifically, really getting a better understanding about our customer and what she's looking for from us.
Yeah, and I saw on Instagram that Dua Lipa wore Hanky Panky to the Barbie premiere last year.
True.
Underneath a sheer dress. So
Yes.
What better way to attract younger customers than having a pop star half nude in your underwear? So we love to see that. We love to see that. Speaking of collabs, you collabed with Pantone, and I saw on the Instagram page you kind of focused on the Pantone Color of the Year trend that they do. How did that collab come to be? How did you choose them? And what kind of collaborations are upcoming next year that you're super excited about and looking forward to?
Yes, good question. So Pantone, we actually launched that 2 weeks ago, and that collaboration really came from, in addition to being known for the most comfortable thong, we're known for color. You could really get any of our products in a range of different colors, different styles, different patterns. We've been known for that for a long time, so when the partnership came with Pantone, it just made sense. We are doing it in a few different ways. Like we have picked 27 colors, working with them on their top colors in the iconic years. And so the whole marketing campaign is very fun, and this kind of goes back to reaching that younger generation. You'll see a lot of content right now that's nostalgic content. So if you notice sort of our approach to Pantone, it was kind of going back to those years, right? What were those iconic moments when those colors were coming out? How can we tell that story? How can we have our audience feel really connected to that? And then doing it in a fun way that translates on the site, because the site really is our brand platform, and we're able to sort of introduce the product there. We also have an influencer, Color Me Courtney. She's all about color, her style, her desire for being bright and colorful, and her personality is reflective of that. So in the next couple of days, you'll see that she's done a really interesting content collaboration with us and Pantone, and so more to come there. But really wanted to think about how can we think about color, how can we think about reaching the audience that we're looking to like expand to, and then Pantone being a very fashion forward kind of consumer, how can we reach her as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So next question for me, since I work at Spaceback and we take social posts and we transform them into programmatic creatives, a lot of our brands and clients really focus on cultural moments and viral moments on their social media and translate that to programmatic assets. What kind of moments in general are important for Hanky Panky and your customer? And
I'd say we look at it in two ways. One being, working with certain celebrities in these moments, right? The Barbie movie was everywhere all the time. We even had like a pink thong kind of story around it. And I think you have to be really authentic with making sure that that aligns with your brand. I would say that our focus more has been looking at our consumer and all of the moments of her life that we need to make sure that we're meeting her in. So next year you're going to see this a lot with the brand. We came out with this year bras because she's looking for that. She's looking for bras in every stage of life. This is, as her first bra, which potentially is the bralette. A lot of our consumers really love that for, kind of their first entry point into bras, all the way to next year we're coming out with maternity. We also have we're known for our one size thong, and we came out with a line that is a one size panties, free to fluctuate your weight. That's a normal thing in women's lives throughout it. We want to make sure that we're meeting her in every single stage because that's what she really is looking for from us. I literally ran into 3 women in the bathroom. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I love Hanky Panky. You've had the thong for 20 years." Like, all right, well maybe we need to upgrade that. Love to hear that. I get stopped. I mean, if I have a name tag of the brand, people stop me if they know it. We have a cult following. How do you continue that? I mean, that's a big question for us. How do you continue to make the cult following feel that strongly? And if we're not able to do that in a department store, and you're not really able to translate that through an ad, how do we do it in a way that meets women where they are in every stage of life? So
yeah, absolutely. I love that. So kind of going back to how you're planning to grow your D2C business this remainder of this year and next year, what have been your priority channels this year? And are you planning on adding any new channels next year? Are you going to dip your toes into AI? I feel like I have to ask because everyone else has asked today, so I'm going to give you that question too.
So I'd say the only real test that we've had with AI has been on our customer service side. I don't know if any of you have used the tool Gorgeous, the competitor of Zendesk, and they have an AI agent that has really helped our customer service team, which is very lean right now for the growth of our business. I have mixed reviews on it, right? Because AI can help in a lot of ways answering very basic questions, but our customer is asking for help often when she's shopping. Sure, AI can answer returns, questions, they can kind of send you to different links on the site, but she's looking for fit, she's looking for recommendations. We've had women ask if they could send in pictures of their bodies for us to help them navigate it. Like, there is a hand raised there that AI is never going to be able to solve. And so we've really had to be thoughtful about how are we using these tools, and we're not just using it as like because we all know, like you go on customer service and you know it's a bot, it's so annoying. And you're like,
It's
can I speak to somebody? Can I speak to somebody? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd say we're still figuring that out. We also use a personalization tool that uses AI called Nisto on our site. That's been helpful. It's been able to curate content in a way that I feel like it's been driving revenue for us. But what I'm really interested in for next year is thinking about the shopping experience. I mean, of course, I'm deeply invested in the success of our e-com site. So we're on Shopify Collective. I don't know how many people are familiar with that. It's now this drop ship bridge that anybody else that has Shopify, you just can create like a one-to-one kind of drop ship program and partnership. So it's actually opening the door for us to test different things. Plus size has not been an audience that we have served. It's definitely underserved for us, and so we have 2 different Shopify Collective partners that are retailers that we're gonna test it. They have a plus size audience. How can we see if there's a product fit for that? Getting real time feedback, doing some interesting collaborations, and all of the payments are actually through Shopify. So it's a test. ask me in 6 months how it's going, and I'll share. And then the second one I'd say is Buy with Prime. I don't know how many of you have been on a site. I think Bare Minerals does it. One of our partners, Saks, does it, where you can actually embed Amazon into your site, having certain products that are actually shipped from Amazon, but you're actually able to purchase it through the site. The only thing they're working on is there's like a duality in the cart, so you're actually having to check out through Amazon and then you have to check out through the Shopify. They haven't really figured that out yet, but we've been seeing, like, with some of our partners, a pretty significant revenue lift. It's just ease of shopping, so that's something that's important for me too. It's how can we make the shopping experience as easy as possible, and with other tools that are super familiar to our user base.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought of another question. It's going to be a left field one. Who would you say is your biggest competitor, and how do you differentiate, like, in the space of underwear where there's a million different brands? And I know you said, like, you have a cult following, people are very loyal. So how do you get people to be loyal? How are you getting people to convert from, like, a Calvin or a Victoria's Secret or that type of thing? That was like a million questions in one.
I think it's two-part. We're definitely getting market share stolen from us, from Skims, from she's got a celebrity repping that brand every single day.
Every day.
Wouldn't say that they are a direct one-to-one competitor though. They're serving different consumers, and their product is very different.
Yeah.
I'd say Victoria's Secret still is sort of in the lane. They're a lower price point, more mainstream. But I'd say probably some of the more like specialty brands, Cosabella, for instance, that would be more of a one-to-one competitor. But who we're up against in Google, and it's Skims, it's Victoria's Secret. They're constantly paying to be on our name, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Is there anything else that we haven't covered for next year that you're super excited about, super looking forward to? Anything you want to share with us, a little sneak peek?
So I think two things that we're really, really focused on, and interesting, the conversation that was just had about sort of that umbrella effect, right? I think you mentioned it, and thinking about evergreen content. I think we've done an interesting disservice to our customers, because we're constantly doing a lot of different partnerships. We're doing a lot of different initiatives that are either bringing a new product to the market or doing a specific collaboration. But I think we've lost our voice with her a little bit. And so I think next year it's really focused on how can we make sure that she knows that we're going to be there in every stage of life that she's going through. And then when she thinks about, okay, I just had a baby, or now I'm postpartum and need a product, like, she's coming to us. Like, she knows that Hanky Panky is going to be there for that life stage, and she's going to get a product that's high quality, it's going to last, that she's not just having to, like, throw away. Side note, we also have Lingerie Cycle, where we have a sustainability model where you can literally, it doesn't have to be Hanky Panky, you can send in, any sort of underwear, we recycle them, we do the right thing, we give you actually credits to purchase on our site. So another entry point into really saying, thinking about underwear, people often throw them away, so how can we make sure we're thinking about sustainability there? But we are doing a big test. I can't say much about it. We did have Bravo being filmed in our office, but we are entering, sort of testing this, younger demographic with a really interesting collaboration in fall. So more to come there. We'll see. I think it's going to be a test for us, and we all know that.
Yeah, everyone keep your eyes out. All right, I guess we can open it up to questions now. Does anyone have any questions for Hillary before we go to lunch? Because I know we are the last session before lunch. Yeah.
So, huge Hanky Panky fan, love it. How do you think about winning over that experience with the department store of touching and feeling the products? I feel like it's so tactile, right? Once you feel it, you're like, I get it. I understand why it's $28 or whatever it is, and it feels worth it. How do you translate that when you think about digital experiences at scale?
I think it's a good question, and it's something that we're navigating as we start investing more in influencers, because now, just like the Cinnabon story, like, other people can tell the story for us. They're actually going to see the product, feel the product, share more information about the product, and then, they've built an audience that, believes them. So I think that's going to be, and candidly, that's influencers have been something we've just started dabbling into. So it's an area we want to expand for sure. But I think that's going to be, the future and where we have to go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, I love to hear about the brand. I have heard of them before, but now it's something I'm definitely looking into.
Love to hear it.
So my question is more, have you guys experimented with like TikTok shop, or if you have, like, do you see younger demographic here, and is it working?
So we haven't. Social commerce is definitely on the roadmap for next year. Some concerns we have with it because we are a premium product. To her point, $28 is like an entry point for a thong. And what we've heard a lot with specifically TikTok Shop is a value-based platform, and a lot of times people are looking for a discount. They're looking for like a lot of products for a lower rate, especially in the lingerie. If you've seen, there's like 10 thongs for $5, It's like, okay, great. Yeah, they're gonna fall apart on me. So I think it's something that we're unsure about, but we need to try it out. So yeah.
I have a question about like your consumer, I guess, demographics, and I guess why you decided to expand into bras so late in the history of the business. Was there some fear of like losing your older demographic, or was there like what led to that expansion?
So our founders are still involved in the business. I mean, like, they started in '77, and specifically Gail, who is so invested in the product, like the way our product is made. We had it made in the U.S. for a very long time, and most of our products are still made in the U.S. We still have a lot of facilities in New York specifically, and so it took a long time for us to get to a point where we felt really confident that the song that we were producing, the lace that we were producing, was going to be the quality that they were proud of. And so I think that was part of the reason to get to bras, is we wanted to do it the right way. We ended up finding a partner that we really felt was a good partner in the space for bras. I'd say, yes, they're slow to move into new categories. It's just this legacy brand that wanted to do it thoughtfully, and it felt like a very large leap. Even though as consumers we don't feel like that, but when you are in the space, it feels like, a structured bra, you have to do it right, and fit is so important, and fabric is so important, size range is so important, and so I think we're still actually in the really early stages of learning a lot about it. We're going to be launching a few more bras moving into next year, but even with the, I think, 5 that we've launched, we've gotten tons of feedback from consumers, good and bad, candidly. You gotta take it, right? I mean, women are going to be honest about bras, and if they fit, if they feel comfortable. It's an interesting industry to be in, right? Where there's one side of the lingerie industry that is, especially with the name Hanky Panky, that feels naughty and feels like, ooh, we shouldn't talk about this. And the other side, which women feel so deeply invested in, is like, hey, this is comfort, functionality, core to me being a confident woman in general. And so as a brand, I think you have to play the field and understanding like where to invest in from a product growth standpoint. I know that was a really long-winded answer, but
I'm curious if it has considered a subscription model, because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not going to buy to me or care for once every 2 months, once every 3 months. And if not, y'all should, because I would totally do that. If not, how are you getting people to repeat purchase? I mean, obviously you have your grandma list and whatnot, but just not as often as I probably should be, especially from a marketing perspective.
I'm glad you said that, because I do I have that on the roadmap. Hopefully to be launching, Q1. We're using Recharge. If anybody else has used that as a software, I'd love to pick your brain if you feel like it's a good tool for subscription models. But we are trying to be really thoughtful about what that looks like right now. I'd say most of repeat purchase comes from a lot of money for retargeting. But also, you know, I think we have a really strong loyalty program. We have our lingerie cycle, which is, you know, really encouraging women to say, hey, if you're ready to restock on underwear, you can send in, you know, ones that you're ready to get rid of, and, you know, we'll give you credits to make sure that you can continue staying with the brand. Yeah.
Any other final questions before lunchtime? All right. Well, thank you, and everyone go buy Hanky Panky panties.
Thank you.